Hello, everyone, and welcome in for another impact of the next three rounds. Nathan and I are here while Jamie's off on holidays. Hopefully, not with the prize money, as someone mentioned in the group chat. I'm sure he's got his own funds and we'll be fine once we get to the end of the season. Doesn't matter though, because I'll be taking all that money. Nathan, how are you?
Oh, not too bad, brother. How are you going?
Yeah, not too bad. Not the best week
Lovely.
scoring wise. So
Oof.
maybe claiming that money might be a little bit bold at the moment, but you got to go take the bad weeks with the good. I've had a few good weeks so far, so all right,
That's
we'll get
him,
into
brother.
these teams
That's him.
then, and then we'll go over, have a look at how the people's team went this week, have a look at our teams, and then we'll jump on to some tipping. So Titans is our first team that we have. They have Canberra, Cowboys, and the Bulldogs coming up. Looks like there could be a few points on offer. What are you thinking, Nath?
I like it. Yeah, that's a good draw. They got a couple good ones coming soon as well. Yeah, I'm definitely loving the Titans draw. They'd be in my top three.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think they're definitely up there. I think if you want to buy any of those players, you can definitely target them. What do you think,
Yeah. So
Ryan?
you're a buyer or a seller?
Oh, I'm a buyer. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I like it. I like it. I think you'll go well. What about the Storm? They got a bit of a pretty juicy looking draw by the looks of that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Storm probably have the best three next games. I think just with how they look, it probably wouldn't matter too much. But Dolphins, South, and Canberra, I think they can score a few points in that. So I would definitely be a buyer of Storm players at the moment
Ooh,
if you're interested in any.
yeah, I'm buying.
For sure. Dragons, a little bit different. We've got Manly, Roosters, and Tigers, so probably a little bit trickier to try and
Mm.
pick. What are you thinking on Dragons?
Yeah, it's a tough one, I think. Like it's not terrible. It's not brilliant. They're playing up and down as well. Um, I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Bit middling,
It's sort
isn't
of
it?
in between. Yeah, yeah, mid range. How about yourself?
I tend to agree. I do like Dragons. I think they're a pretty good team, so I don't think I'd be avoiding off that draw if there was someone
Mm.
that you wanted to bring in, but I don't think it brings out any clear targets
So
through
you
the top.
buy 'em?
I think you can buy. Yeah, if you've got
You
anyone in.
can buy 'em. Yeah,
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 not
yeah. I
buying
wouldn't
because
be
I
a
haven't
seller.
bought though. Yeah. Knights, though, that's probably
Ooh,
someone I'm not looking at buying at the moment. I'd probably look like more of a
yeah.
sell with how they're going. What do you think?
Maybe like they got they got such a good draw. That's the thing. Like it takes one game to get back into form.
Yeah.
But you're dead right. They're not looking crash hot.
Mm.
So next three games as well. Like after Cronulla, I don't hate it. Like, but the problem is the Knights at the moment they're taking green draws and they're not scoring points on them. So it's tough. I think the loss of Jagat Saifidi was a lot to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably selling them at the moment. If I got Knights players, I'm keeping them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not actively getting any.
Yeah. I don't think the three rounds doesn't help too much. I think just especially with where they are, but they do what they're a buy. No buys up until round 18, so you do have that perk for them.
Agreed, mate. How about the
Warriors.
Wars? What do you
Yes.
think of the Wars?
Wires are a tricky one. They're doing a
Hmm.
lot better than I expected. Brisbane, I think, is probably their main challenge in the next two games, but then they have Newcastle and Cowboys, which don't look too bad. They've also got a good buy schedule for the first major and minor, so I think I'd be a buyer.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm with you there. I'm, Fisher Harris gone down injured, so it'll be interesting to see who comes through and gets some minutes. I'm more a watcher at the moment. I know we haven't had that option, but we'll put that one in. I've watched the Wars this week and go from there because after this week, you're dead right. They've got a pretty sweet little draw. So yeah, might watch, sit back and watch and see who comes out of this week with some minutes.
Yeah, no, I think that's a perfect idea. You can definitely wait a week on them.
Mm.
Bulldogs, they
Ooh,
look brilliant. Doesn't matter
they
who they
do.
play.
They do, mate. They look like world beaters.
Souths, Broncos, Titans. There's probably a few points on offer in two of those games, and I think they probably match up quite well to Brisbane as well too. So I'd be pretty happy to bring in any Bulldogs at the moment, especially with their bye schedule beyond, so the state of origin period, the two minor
I'm
buys.
I'm with you 100%. I think definitely a buyer on Bulldogs. I've only got one of them. I've got Preston at the moment. He's feeling like with his origin schedule and that, he's a bit of a must-have. But I don't like the term must-have because, you can only have so many players, but he's certainly one that you wouldn't go wrong with. Yeah,
No.
no fair. What about the Cowboys? They've sort of gotten a bit of form. They're on the bye this week, but the next two they've got Gold Coast and Warriors.
Yeah,
What do you
after the
think?
bye, looks pretty good.
Mm.
Like Gold Coast and Warriors aren't a bad matchup, and as you said, they found some form. They seem to be scoring points quite well. Um, I know we're meant to be looking at the next three rounds, but we've got two buys
There's
in.
another bye in round 12 though,
Yeah,
and that's the thing that worries. But
yeah.
yeah,
I
I'm
think,
feeling you on those next couple of matchups though.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, not
Probably
hating them.
I'll go watch.
Yeah, watch definitely.
Watch.
Eels.
Oh, you'd be hard pressed owning any eels. It must suck if you're an owner of Hopgood at the moment.
Oh, mate, I'm not, but I do feel sorry for a lot of the mates in the private chat and that are. Yeah, no, definitely a stay away from for me. But I do have I'm holding Iongi. I don't care. I'm just going to hold him through the Origin period because I don't think he loses a lot of money. I don't think he gains a lot of money, but he might fill a position of need if I get an injury.
Handy for those first two Origin buys, so they play the first major and minor there, which I think could be a
Absolutely.
reason to hold.
Yeah.
Um, Based off form in the
Ooh.
next three, Tigers by
Yeah.
Cronulla, I think you could sell if you wanted to just look at it over the next three, though.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more, especially with ones like Hopgood. Eagles. What are you thinking on the Sea Eagles?
They, oh, their next three games that they play, St George, Penrith, and Cronulla. Cronulla and Penrith, as we've said, probably a bit debatable being in that red, um, but trickier teams. So there's certainly no easy
Mm.
matchups in there for them. Plus the bye in three. Do play the first two Origin buys, which might be a little
Yeah.
bit handy. But they look like they've got a tough stretch, so maybe that makes them look like more of a sell for the next three.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a seller on them. Like, not desperately getting them out of my team or anything, but Garrick's made a lot of money. I'd consider it. Yeah, yeah, definitely a sell for me too, mate.
Yeah, he's that perfect sort of player. Actually, as an example where we're probably not expecting him to hit those 50 pluses over those next three games, and that's why we sort of sit there and go, yeah, they might be a sell.
Yeah.
Um, doesn't mean you have to sell if Garrick's a
No, of
keeper
course not.
for the year. By all means, keep, but just might not expect him to score that as well, or maybe not target those teams.
Exactly.
Roosters, the Chooks.
The Chookies. They're a wild team this year, aren't they? Bit of a roller coaster, mate.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of them, to be honest. I think they're a bit soft through the middle. I'm not sure if they've solved that putting Butcher up through there, but games wise, the next three, bit hit and miss. As we were talking about earlier, Penrith probably shouldn't really be a red, and St George are quite good, but the Dolphins, I love my Fins, but they can certainly let up some points. Um, I don't hate it. Yeah, no, I don't hate the Roosters. What about you?
I don't mind that schedule.
Hmm.
I think St George, I think Penrith and St George will leak a few points.
Yeah.
Um, so I actually have them as one of my higher schedules over
Okay.
for all the teams over the next three. I think they were fighting it out for third spot with a couple of other teams. So I'd probably say bye.
Yeah.
I don't
And
mind.
the buy in 4 rounds, is a bit of an
Yeah,
issue, but they've got the best Origin schedule out of any.
exactly.
So I'd be depends how many Roosters you got in your team. Most people have enough, but I certainly wouldn't be selling any.
No,
Panthers, mate. What do you think of the Kitty Cats?
they are kitty cats at the moment, aren't they? The way that they're
Yeah, that's why I
playing.
said it. Oh man.
Oh, they look so nervous. They just don't look like the Penrith that we're used to seeing. So,
No, it's weird. I just think they've lost too many players.
yeah,
Um, I mean, draw wise, they got Sydney City, Manly, Brisbane. None of those are really pushovers
no,
over the next three. They got an upcoming bye. I don't know, mate. I'd hold my Penrith players that I have if they're good during Origin. Like I'm not in a hurry to sell people. You're not going to be in a hurry to sell Cleary, for example, but I wouldn't be actively buying any.
No, I don't think they're in the form. They're only because they do have that early sort of origin bias. That might be the only thing to consider. You have those players that
Mm,
step up.
yep.
So I know I'll save him actually for later, but there's a player that's sort of from Penrith that I'll definitely be targeting around origin time that I might
Ooh,
sort of mention. But we'll
looking
get through these
forward to it.
teams first.
Yep, sounds good.
Where are we up to? Tigers. So Tigers have
Tigers.
Parramatta, Cronulla, and St George. Uh, Parramatta looks nice.
Does.
Cronulla, they do tend to actually get us a little bit. So I think they've got us the last 2 years, 2024,
Oh,
2023, especially early in the year. Bit of a bogey team for us, and they've been much worse in those years. So they could go well in that. And St George seemed to sort of leak 20 points a game. So
yeah.
I don't hate it. They were actually one of my other teams that I was competing for that third spot. So
Interesting.
I think you could probably look at a few Tigers players. I'd consider them more buyers than sells. Yourself?
Yeah. A lot of people will be captaining May this week. So yeah, yeah. Yeah, I could go by. Yeah. What about the Rabbitohs?
Have them as the trickiest.
Yeah.
So we've got Bulldogs, Melbourne, and Newcastle, which even though it does soften it a little bit, I think that's the hardest two teams prior to it. So
Yeah. But then you got the
um,
Broncos right after them as well. I know we're doing three, but that's
yeah,
3 out of 4 very tough matchups. I'm hearing you.
that's our top three teams on the ladder at the moment. So I think they
Yeah.
are probably avoids, although they are scrappy.
Yeah,
I
they are.
avoid yourselves.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be actively buying any except the one that I'm going to talk about later. um, Bronx.
Uh, what have we got? Warriors, Bulldogs, Penrith. Probably a little bit tricky, would you say?
Yeah, tricky.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a hold on the Bronx, but if you're buying players that have dropped a heap in value like Walsh and that, I don't hate it.
yeah, yeah. They
But
seem,
again, you got to remember he plays Origin a lot of the time, depending on if Ponga gets the spot. But Walsh would be big if he misses out.
yeah.
Oh, how about my Finns?
If they play like they did last week, last
Fins up,
week.
baby.
But what have we got? Melbourne, probably not who you
Yeah,
want to
Melbourne's
follow up
tough.
with. I think we had them
No.
as a tricky one because of that last week.
Yep.
Canberra and Roosters. So getting a little bit easier. We've got Parramatta and Warriors, but then Bulldogs as well too coming up. So not terrible.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, probably a little bit middling. Probably
Hard
watch
this
this
week.
week and have a look
Um,
if you've got any
yeah,
time.
hard this week. Looking next week.
Yeah,
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Sharkies?
Sharkies. I like my
You're the
Sharks.
Sharks expert.
Yeah, draw that we've got coming up. I would have had us probably first if it wasn't for knowing that Tigers were a little bit tricky, and
Fair.
how well Storm were playing. But Newcastle and Parramatta look quite juicy for a lot of our attacking players. Seems to be where a lot of Sharks players score their fantasy points. So
Mm-hmm.
I think this is definitely a nice little run to target some Sharks players. They'd be a buy for me. Top two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely a buy for me as well. I think it's a good run, and I think they're a very potty team. I don't think there's anyone that's that owned on them. So yeah, yeah, get stuck in and see if you can get up the ranks a bit. Raiders,
Lucky last. We had them as top last
lucky
week, didn't
last.
we?
We did.
They still look good with Titans and Dolphins there. They just throw one of the heavyweights in Melbourne and then the other heavyweight in Bulldogs straight after
Yeah,
now. So still a good target, I think, because they have such a good run through Origin as well too. You've got them up until round 15. I don't think I could say themselves just based off those two trickier matchups. Around that, they look quite good. So
agreed. Yeah, I'm a buy.
yeah, I think
Absolutely.
Raiders
All
with
right.
we go
Have we
through.
got our teams for the week?
All right, let's go and check out how the people's team went. And there was a few maybe interchange things we could have fixed up. So I was in the group chat sort of last week or before all the games kicked off, just trying to see what everyone was feeling with ordering. We had a few polls and some other people sort of had some going up as well too. So things like Toya's versus Katoga's. Toya ended up winning that one out. Brimson
Yeah, I
versus
wanted Brimson over
Marley.
Tamale, but it
Yeah,
was a good matchup for him. They just won't pass it to him for some reason.
yeah, yeah. No, I
Yeah,
was scared
Beaver's
to.
team doing good though.
He still got up
9:30.
9:30, so
Mm.
we did climb the ranks. Jumped up quite a bit. I think we were sort of sitting around 8 or 9 thousand. So nice little
With his
climb back.
team.
I think the thing I like most about it is how well set up it looks at the moment.
Hell yeah, it looks sweet. Looks like we could save some trades pretty soon too.
Yeah,
Loving it.
yeah. I was having a look and I was like, are there any clear trade targets? Our bench, we're keeping all of them, I would
Yeah,
imagine. Maybe Munster might have a think about, but it just seems to be
maybe.
this little triangle down here that got us last
Yeah.
week. So keep an eye out. Jenkins might even get some duel this week, so that'd be
Yeah,
handy.
I think Toya's worth persisting with, but he's going to have some off games, and if off games around 30, that's fine. Jenkins had a shocker, but so did all the Panthers.
Yes.
Tamale, I'll worry about. He's just not
Yeah.
getting the ball. Like
He's
he's a brilliant player, but I don't know what the hell he did to Egan. Whatever he did, make up with him, bud.
yeah.
I
The
want you to get some
just not
tackle
passing
breaks.
that eye test. It keeps on getting stuck out there on Ethan Strange, doesn't it? And he just
Yeah, he seems to hang back a lot as well. So I'm just, yeah, not loving it. How about you? How'd your team go, my friend?
I had quite the opposite week. So
Ooh.
we flick over to me. I was about 100 points behind on 831. So I dropped
Oh,
back
Fisher Harris.
a little under 5K. Always going to be the case when I jump on and start showing my team off to everyone that we start to underperform. But Fisher Harris obviously hurt a little bit more than Humphreys did too because he's less owned. So
Yep.
that wasn't one that everyone was getting. Hop good again, just didn't get out for the second stint. He looked better at least in that role. Um, just didn't get the minutes.
Yep.
My backs, I had the high week last week and they didn't quite come in this week with Tamale, Toya, and Jenkins, the same as the
Yep.
People's team. I was quite lucky actually. I got saved in my trade. So Egan and Campbell got brought in
Oh,
this week. So
nice.
that's 151 points there.
Yeah,
Um,
Egan seems like a must own. He passes the eye test big time.
yeah, absolutely. If he's going to be starting there too, yeah, he's.
Oh, yeah.
We don't like the term must have, but I think he is a must have if he's going to be starting.
Yeah, there are some that are pretty close to it.
Yeah, yeah, he's going to make bulk cash now.
Oh, well. Big comeback this week, brother.
Yeah, that's it. Onwards and upwards. I'm looking at a few different trades, so it's whether I trade two or three this week. So
Yep.
JFH and Seyfarth, I think are definitely going to go. That could be to a Fafita and a Walsh or
Ooh.
Katoga,
Uh,
just to sort of shore up the back line there a little bit. Or
Walsh is ballsy.
yeah, Walsh, it's definitely a gamble if I take Walsh. It's just that I have 1K spare after I get him in, so it'd fit him in nice. And Katoga, I think it was just the
Ooh.
buy next week and whether I feel like I've missed out a little bit too much on that value.
Yeah.
Um, or I chuck a Munster in there and go for three and go for feeder, a Teddy or Latrell, and then shore it up with a Valmarga or Savala as cheapies. So I wouldn't need to play
Ooh.
them.
I think I'd want a week on Valmarga, but it's a ballsy play and you got to make them.
That'd definitely shore up
Oh,
having fullback. So something I'm
yeah.
thinking about. Wait till team list
Yep.
Tuesday, but
Good
free
call, brother.
trades
I
are very
like it.
tempting when they're sitting there.
Yeah, I love it. Love it.
All right. All right, we'll flick over to your team. You've gone a little bit better than me, of course.
Um, yeah, not too bad. I stuffed up a couple of trades recently. Like, of course, I traded Wong in and ruined him for everyone. I'm sorry, guys. That was me. But
Oh,
I only lost 50 ranks, so I'm really happy with that. Kant's going great guns, so that was a good trade. Egan I got in this week, and well, I certainly didn't expect that, but loved it. So yeah, I'm bringing Latrell in this week,
yeah,
and I'm bringing in Kautoga just because I need a bit of surety in the centres, and even with South Straw, 700 kick meters. I know he's not going to do it every time. Latrell barely did anything that game. Got 62. Like he got one try assist, and which was gorgeous, I might add. But he just I feel like if he has one of those attacking stat games, he's going to go 100 plus, and I'm going to regret it if he's not in my side.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm getting old mud guts in, and then I got Egan, so Kautoga should do it. And I've got good depth on the bench. Like I'll actually be looping Hubner and Wong because Wong scared me so much this week.
Oh, it's not bad. If you've got those two to loop through, you're doing pretty well. It's a pretty strong bench there.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. Running fairly trade light, so I'll certainly be easing off the gas the next few weeks. But yeah, not doing too bad. I'm happy with it, brother.
Yeah, doesn't look like you need to make too many changes too. Have you sort of had a look at your buy planning, how many players you've got, or
Yeah, so I just need mids, like just about everyone, because and a hooker. Because
yeah,
looking at that, I am trading Sharp out this week, which will leave me a half that I'll need as well. But I
yeah.
don't know, Latrell's just going to be so much better than Sharp, I think, and I just can't trust the Knights. Like they're horrendous.
Speaking on mids, then just to throw you a name, just to see what you
Oh
think.
yeah, what do you
Tarpany
got?
seems like a very good target at the moment, being that probably one of the primo mids for those first two
Yeah,
buys.
I
What do you?
love him. I love Young, like I threw out
Oh yes,
last
young
week as
too.
well.
Another double.
Um, yeah, Fafita that I threw out as well. He's not for the buys, but he's just, they're just so good. Tarpanay scoring tries. He looks like one of the inform mids of the comp.
Yeah,
I don't think you can go wrong. He's very expensive, but if you're going to go in the buy round and want the elite of the elite, he'd be the go.
yeah, yeah. No, he'd be if it wasn't for my team structure, I'd probably have him a little bit above maybe Latrell and Teddy there.
Yep.
I think it's just that he's that little bit pricier, or maybe just doesn't quite fit my team. I need a wing fullback to sort of shore
Yeah,
it up.
everyone's got so
Otherwise,
many mids and
yeah,
edges.
yeah, it feels better to sort of bring one of those guys in. So
Yeah, no,
yeah, no,
fair
I
on
think
that.
he's pretty good target at the moment if
Yeah,
anyone's thinking about him.
agreed.
Um,
What do you got for me tips wise, my friend?
last of all, oh, how'd you go this week? Oh,
Actually, pretty good. Yeah, I
yeah.
got 6 out of 8, I think,
Oh,
overall.
well done. I think I
I
was
think
four.
so.
So
Yeah,
yeah, no,
I'd
he's
have to I
been
have to
pretty
go and
good.
look at it again. Maybe I'm lying.
Yeah.
Rewind the last video. Um,
Take your
who do
word
you
for
like?
it.
Eagles or Dragons? That's a tight one, I think.
I think I'm going to go the underdog here. I think I'll go Dragons. As I said, I like the Dragons. I think even when they
Yeah.
lose, they're still in the fight. And I know it's at 4 points. I just think mainly a bit of turmoil at the moment. There's a lot of
They are,
lot going on.
but I think I'm going to go with them. I'm going to back the Eagles.
Stick with Manly. All right,
It's a
there we
tough
go.
call, though.
No, it is. It's a tricky game. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I know. It's just
You
something
wouldn't
for
go
the
wrong either way.
Dragons.
Now, let me
Um,
guess. Doggies automatic.
yeah, I think doggies have to be pretty automatic here.
You know what? I'm going to throw one at you. I think it's a weird upset this week. I think
Oh,
doggies are due for an upset. I'm going to
yeah.
call a big one. I'm going to call a huge trail game because I just traded him in. No, I actually weirdly think the Rabbits are going to come out and pull it out. I think whenever a team gets too far ahead, they can get a reality check every
Yeah,
so often, and I think it might be this week.
yeah. No, I
Yeah,
think
bit of a
if
big
they're going
call.
to do it, it's definitely off the back of Latrell, but I think Doggy's defense has just been a little bit too strong for me. I'd back them against the
Yeah,
Melbourne more than a Bulldogs.
yeah.
Here we go,
No,
Storm
that's
and
fair.
Dolphins. So here, if I said this could be an upset, more against Storm. Don't think I could give it to. Oh, they did it last week. No, I've got to go
Storm's
Storm.
Storm's good at Suncorp.
Yeah,
I love my Finns, but don't put money on them.
yeah.
I
Penrith
think
were
the
good
Storm
there too,
rolls us.
weren't they?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the Storm rolls us. What do you reckon about Bronx or Warriors?
Uh, over home for the Warriors, so that probably
Mm.
makes it a
But
little
Fisher
bit more
Harris is a big
interesting.
loss with
Yeah,
Haas in the middle, especially, and Carrigan playing so well.
yeah. No, you need a big game from Barnett, who's probably not
Mm.
a bad shout to keep an eye on, not to bring in, but especially with James
Definitely.
Fisher-Harris going down now, he's also seemed to slowly be picking back up.
Yep,
Um,
absolutely.
but I'll back the Broncos bounce back. I think they win.
Yeah, I got to go to the Bronx.
Yeah. Roosters and Panthers. This is an
Ooh.
interesting one. I'm surprised to see
Did
Panthers
you
are
ever think you'd
favourites.
be looking at 15th, 16th Roosters Panthers game?
Oh, a couple of years ago, maybe.
Wow.
Good couple of years ago.
Oh, who are you thinking?
I can't, I'm not tipping Panthers again. Not until they win. I can't do it.
No.
Not, they just looked. bad too. I know they'll come out and win
Yeah.
one soon and they'll bounce back, but until I see it, I'm tipping against them every week. So I'm going to go
Oh, I
Roosters.
can't believe they're the favourites, to be honest. I'll go Roosters as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Titans and Raiders. That should be a fun game, actually.
Yeah, I think it's definitely close.
Is that Seabuzz?
Oh, yeah, that's probably where the odds are coming into it a little bit. I was a bit surprised. I thought
Hmm.
Raiders might be a little bit more favoured. I definitely tend to lean towards the Raiders.
Yeah,
Um,
me too, honestly, but wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
Titans are that sort of team that on their day when they're clicking, they can beat most teams in the comp.
Oh yeah, they can put some points on. Ooh,
Knights and Sharkies.
you know what? I'm going to ask you first because this is your team. What are you thinking?
Funnily enough, Knights we tend to struggle with too early in the season.
Really?
Yeah, I would say I
Yeah,
remember
but
these
is this
teams.
really the Knights or the ghosts of Knights past?
Yeah, this is definitely a different Knights that we'll be facing this time. But
Yeah.
I've got a few mates that go for Knights, a few mates that go for Tigers. So I tend to remember these ones, and they do get us before. So I'll still go Sharks. I just don't know. Can you back a team that's only scored one try in their past two games?
Oh, mate, I'm thinking Sharks 13 plus.
Yeah, yeah. And this is our lucky last.
Ooh, Tigers
Tigers and
Eels.
Eels. Battle of the West.
Eels looked better.
Yeah, they do. They do look to finally be finding some form.
Mm, but Tigers have looked quite good, especially with Luai back.
I think if I was going to pick an upset for the week, this one would probably be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if there was
Well,
any
are
team,
you going to pick it?
Tigers looked good last week. They looked really
They
good.
do.
But was it just a really bad night's making them look better than they were, or oh, I think I'd take Tigers straight up tipping in that new format one though. If Eels are looking like you're getting a few more points for them, I think I'd lean to Eels.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think they're going to lift. I think Eels are going to be my other upset for the week. I've
yeah,
picked
you
two
got
upsets
Eels.
this week.
Yeah,
And yeah, Tigers look good, but Eels seem to lift against them. I don't know why.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's that Battle of the
Uh,
West. It's yeah, it means a
yeah.
lot to the fans and stuff out there
Yeah,
too.
it does. It's
Yeah,
a good
nice little
rivalry. I
rivalry.
do enjoy a
Yeah,
good rivalry.
no, they are good. I
Oh,
think we
mate. So
covered.
any last minute shouts or names you wanna throw out, my friend?
No, I think just wanted to make sure I mentioned Taps. I think he's a good
Yeah,
shout.
good
He's
one.
2 point something percent. I imagine he's going to climb quite a bit this week. But just if he doesn't come into your thoughts, one to definitely look out
Yep.
for if you need some buy planning. Um, but
And I'm
otherwise,
backing Mudguts Latrell.
yeah,
He's going the distance, the big fella.
yeah. And I think I'm going to go for Feeder because I think I'm right for buy planning. So I think he's a good one if you can squeeze him in too.
Honestly, if I could squeeze him and Latrell in, I would. No, very good point.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Absolute pleasure.
No, we've done much better this week, haven't we? So got through that one a little bit quicker. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed it. We know a few people said that they like the longer format. Who knows? We might have to start something different where we can just chew your ears off for a couple of hours each week.
Sounds like fun. Talk some
I'm sure we
footy.
could do it. And hopefully the audio is a little bit better. I've tried to go out and pick up a mic. I know no one else mentioned it, but I hated it last week. So I don't know whether it was just Nate and his sounding heaps better, but
Oh,
as we
that's just
said,
because mine's so purdy.
yeah. Oh, you've got the voice too, the radio voice, but you didn't get the face for it too. You got both, so you're all right.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, mate. What did my mum always say? I had a head that needed regular panel beating.
No, my mum always told me I'm handsome, so I've never had to face that. But maybe it's
Yeah.
boosted me a little bit too much.
Love it, mate.
No,
Uh,
well, all the best, everyone, this week. Keep an eye out if you are in the group, the private group for those posts. Might have a look at trying to streamline it so that we can maybe either set up a chat so that everyone can just jump in and vote for it without sort of getting too much information in your faces. And if you're not in that private group, what are you doing? Have a look at the information below. Make sure you jump in because it will definitely improve your fantasy game. Anything else to
yep.
add, Nate?
I'm at 157, and that's all been the VIP private group. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, no, definitely. All righty, team. All the best, and we shall see you next week.